Hello, and welcome to Seattle Humane's Foster Orientation. The purpose of today's presentation is to prepare you for becoming a foster parent with Seattle Humane. Today we will discuss the purpose and importance of the foster program, and we will provide you with a general overview of how the program operates. After you have completed this video, please move down to the foster review. Once that is submitted, you are ready to foster your first pet. Seattle Humane's foster program is a huge part of our organization. Currently, Seattle Humane saves over 8,000 animals a year, and more than 50% of those animals end up going to foster. With nearly half of our shelter population relying on foster care, it's easy to see why this work is so important. Foster homes allow us to expand our capacity beyond the shelter walls. For every new foster home we have, we're able to bring in another animal. So ultimately, the more foster parents we have, the more lives we can save. By choosing to volunteer as a foster parent, you are truly doing life-saving work. There are three main ways in which animals come to Seattle Humane: owner surrender, stray intake, and transfers in from other organizations. Most animals that enter the foster program are brought in as transfers. Seattle Humane is lucky to have access to resources that may not be available to our neighboring shelters, so we often take in the animals that need a little extra care. Our objective for every animal that enters the shelter system is to get them into their adoptive home as soon as possible. There are three main reasons as to why we operate with this goal in mind. The first being that the shelter system is inherently stressful on animals, so it is important we do everything we can to reduce it while they are in our care. The second reason is that when an animal moves through the system and is adopted, a new spot opens up for a transfer animal to come to us. Lastly, operating with length of stay in mind enables us to utilize our resources strategically, allowing us to give every animal the care that they need. It's important to keep in mind that the foster program is a life-saving operation. As a foster parent, it is your responsibility to follow your foster pet's appointment needs, communicate with the foster team, and be flexible. Most of our animals in foster require medical attention. Some animals may require weekly visits to our on-site veterinarian. Missing veterinary appointments can prolong an animal's length of stay, which prohibits a new animal from entering our system. Reflecting on your actions as a foster parent can be extremely beneficial. Ask yourself and the foster team, what can I do? How can I help? While you are fostering with Seattle Humane, your primary point of contact will be the foster coordinators. If you need to get in touch with a foster coordinator, email is always the preferred mode of communication. Email allows us to respond to your concerns more quickly, and the ability to read back on past conversations reduces the chances of redundancy or forgotten details. That being said, we do have a phone line that you are welcome to call should you need to. Medical emergencies or a lost foster pet can be serious and even potentially fatal. If you are experiencing an emergency, it is important to follow the proper procedure. Remember to stay calm. During office hours, bring your foster pet to vet services. After hours, call the foster line and follow the voicemail prompt. If your foster pet is in need of immediate medical attention after hours, the on-call staff member will direct you to a 24-hour clinic. This instance is the only time your foster pet should go to an off-site clinic. If you take your foster pet to an off-site clinic without the directive from a Seattle Humane staff member, you are liable for those costs. Sometimes accidents happen that can result in injury. If your foster pet bites or injures another person or pet, please report it to the foster team as soon as possible. If a person outside of your home is injured by a foster pet, gather their personal information and let them know Seattle Humane may be in contact. You are required to fill out an incident report with us in the event of an injury. If you wish to speak to a foster team member, email is always the best mode of communication. Foster staff members are often away from their desk and are likely to miss a phone call. Email is also important because we have a team of people working together. So you may start your conversation with one coordinator and have it be picked up by another. The ability to read through an email chain helps prevent redundant conversation. While you are actively fostering an animal, you are required to send the foster team an update at least once a week. This email is important because it helps keep track of our foster population and lets us know that everyone is getting the care that they need. Our foster population is large, so we rely on our foster parents to advocate for their animals. The foster program operates on appointment only. Because we have so many animals in foster at any given time, it's incredibly important that we schedule an appointment for everything. This allows us to make sure you're getting what you need while you're on campus and reduces the amount of time spent waiting for assistance. If you show up without an appointment, we may not be able to assist you. The foster website is known as the Foster Program Hub. It contains the most up-to-date information regarding which animals need foster. It has links to supplemental materials regarding the basics of training, behavior, and medical needs. It also contains the foster report card, which is something you'll be expected to fill out for every animal you foster. The report card is important for matching animals to appropriate homes based on the personalities learned in foster. This is your chance to share what you've learned about your foster pet with potential adopters.
Appointments are to be scheduled through our online booking service. You are able to book 1 day or farther in advance. If you need to have an appointment same day, please email the foster team to find out available times.
We have a variety of animals needing foster for a number of different reasons, all requiring different amounts of time in foster. The types of animals needing care are neonatal puppies and kittens, also known as bottle babies, animals too young to spay and neuter or under 8 weeks, moms with nursing litters, cats with upper respiratory infection, dogs with kennel cough, animals receiving medical treatment, animals that are stressed on campus and need a break, under-socialized animals that need to learn how to trust humans, media animals that are being saved for a marketing event, and animals with a terminal illness requiring foster hospice care, also known as hospice care.
We will send out foster requests when there is an urgent need for certain pets to go to foster. If you receive this email and want to foster one of these pets, please schedule your pickup online. You will be able to pick up your first foster pet as soon as you complete the foster review. When you are interested in picking up a foster pet, email the foster team and let us know who that is. We will go over any and all behavioral or medical needs they may have. Once we have gone over the information, we will determine together if they are a good fit for you. After that, you will schedule your pickup online. Most foster animals are stressed or are undergoing medical treatment, so we are unable to hold visits with them prior to you picking them up. The only time you will meet a foster pet prior to bringing them home is if you are picking up a dog and you have a resident dog that needs to meet prior to the foster dog entering your home. Please inform us of time restrictions prior to pickup.
After picking up your foster animal, you will receive a new foster welcome email. This email will contain any pertinent details about your foster pet, as well as when they are due for vaccines, deworming, or vet checks. You will want to star or save this email as it will be a useful reference throughout your foster time. It is critical for your safety and the safety of our pets that you provide appropriate travel accommodations to and from campus. During transportation, cats and small animals must stay in a travel crate or cage, and dogs must be kept separate from your resident dog and be safely secured. This can be accomplished by using a large travel crate. All necessary supplies to safely transport your animal can be supplied by Seattle Humane. Each foster animal requires supplies. We are able to provide most of these supplies should you need them. We will always provide a leash, collar with a Seattle Humane ID tag, and harness for dogs, as well as a transport carrier for cats. Let us know prior to picking up your first foster animal if you will need any of these supplies. A few key rules for your foster animals are as follows. Dogs must always be on leash when out of a fully fenced backyard. Foster dogs are not permitted to be outside unsupervised and must be kept indoors at night. Foster dogs are not permitted to go to dog parks. Cats, kittens, and small animals must remain indoors at all times. Cats, kittens, and small animals are not permitted to go outside on a leash and harness. Pet doors that lead to the outside must be closed when you have a foster animal. Please see your foster manual for examples on appropriate housing for your pet. It is critical that you remain in control of who is meeting your foster dog at all times. To best ensure this practice, follow the 10-5-3 rule. Foster dogs must remain 10 feet from other dogs, 5 feet from unknown children, and 3 feet from unknown adults. Foster dogs are not allowed to meet other dogs unless it is a dog that is a resident of your home. There is too much potential risk when it comes to meeting unknown dogs, children, and adults, such as different personalities which may cause conflict. The health of your foster dog could pose an issue to another dog, and vice versa, and the liability that comes with all of these variables. Foster pets should be given fresh food and water daily and should have a clean space to be housed in. While you are cleaning and feeding, review the areas and note any abnormalities, such as an untouched food bowl or diarrhea in the litter box. This helps to ensure that your foster pet is healthy. If you see anything abnormal, alert the foster team. It is important to disinfect your foster area in between animals. Oftentimes, a foster animal has an illness which could potentially spread to another foster through the environment. If you foster an animal that has an illness that is serious and easily spread, we will send you with the cleaner we use on campus, Excel. Excel is extremely effective in killing bacteria, but is expensive, so we are unable to send it to every foster home. All dogs over the age of 6 months receive a behavior assessment. This assessment gives us an idea of what type of home would be the best fit for the dog. It gives us child restrictions and information on how they do with other dogs. To see how they are with cats, we look at their history. Regardless of how they do on the test, it is important to remember that the guidelines are made based off of behavior we see on campus, which can differ from behavior seen in a home. It's vital you inform us of any behavior that is concerning. Some cats will have behavior assessments as well. These behavior notes can change once we gather more information from a foster home. Again, you should always alert the foster team if you are seeing a behavior that is concerning. Seattle Humane has an entire veterinary department dedicated to the medical well-being of every animal on campus. Before an animal is sent to foster with you, they will have had an initial vet exam, also known as a medical check-in. During this exam, the animal will be thoroughly looked over, receive any necessary vaccines or dewormers, as well as receive a microchip. If you foster a neonate, they will need to come in for their medical check-in when they turn 4 weeks old. We may not have results of lab tests prior to sending them out to foster with you.
If your foster is due for a vet check, it is important that you schedule the appointment in advance. Our vets have limited availability, and we are often unable to accommodate vet appointments that are scheduled the day of. Our typical window for appointments is between 2 p.m. and 4:30 p.m., and our appointments can be scheduled 7 days a week. When considering taking an animal to foster that will require frequent vet visits, think about whether or not your schedule can accommodate them. When you arrive for your vet appointment, please leave your foster pet in the car. Our vet reception space is small and can be stressful for our animals. It also helps prevent the spread of disease if we do not have multiple animals waiting in the lobby space at the same time. Once our vets are ready, a foster staff person will request you to bring the animal inside. Vet appointments typically last about 30 minutes, though you should leave a little extra time in your schedule in case the appointment runs long. If we know an appointment will take much longer than 30 minutes, we will tell you beforehand. A very important part of fostering is being able to bring your animals in for those vet checks. Seattle Humane needs animals to receive timely care so that they can get into their adoptive homes quickly. If you have a restrictive schedule, communicate that to us. There are some animals that need long-term foster with minimal appointments, but we do not always have those animals available. Remember, an adopted pet is another life saved.
During your time as a foster parent, you will likely end up with an animal that is in need of medication. These meds can come in different forms: oral, topical, transmucosal, and injectable. If you are unsure of how to administer or are not comfortable administering, let us know. We are happy to train you in the art of medicating, as it will be an extremely useful skill for you to have. It is important that you are mindful of when your foster animal is going to run out of meds. Oftentimes, we will have a recheck scheduled that coincides with the ending of the prescription, but that is not always the case. Discontinuing some medications can be dangerous, so alert foster if you are running low. Never discontinue a medication without confirmation from the vet staff or foster staff. Even if a foster animal is sent to you healthy, they may end up needing medical attention at some point. Be vigilant and note if you see any of these symptoms occurring in one of your foster pets. Sneezing alone does not necessarily warrant a visit to the vet, but sneezing, coughing, and lethargy will. Always email the foster team if you see any signs of illness.
There are 3 potential outcomes for pets in the shelter: adoption, transfer, or euthanasia. We all work together to place the pets through adoption or transfer, and that is shown by our statistics. 99% of the pets that come to Seattle Humane find adopters or transfer options. Sometimes those outcomes aren't possible, though. Euthanasia may be the outcome for pets if they are suffering medically or behaviorally.
Sending an animal to foster isn't about making them perfect. It's about establishing a foundation for adoptive parents to work off of. Setting up animals for success is the main goal of a foster home, and it's up to all of us to have trust in our community of adopters to love the animals as much as we do. Every pet deserves the chance to have as many opportunities as possible to find an adoptive home, even if they are still in need of behavioral assistance or medical care. If an animal does poorly on campus, we can always send them to a foster home and advertise them on the website. That being said, their chances of being adopted are much higher if they are on campus. Returning your foster animal to campus can be hard for you to do, but it is necessary. The best chance of your foster being adopted is having them on the adoption floor where they can receive the most visibility. You can help your foster pet be adopted quickly into the best home for them by filling out a foster report card, bringing any medication or special food with them, and even making a flyer like Zoe's foster parents did. You will need to give us at least 3 days notice so we can ensure your foster animal has appropriate housing when they return. Ready for another foster pet at the time of drop-off? Let us know and we can have another ready for you.